If it's not the hard way, then it's not like the right way. And I'm like, no.
Girl, that's a word.
And I'm like, no, you can have a community and it could be a beautiful journey. There's going to be times where you're like struggling a little bit, but you don't have to choose the hard route every time.
Yeah.
Because you feel like that's what you need to do for it.
Hi guys, welcome back to another amazing episode of Wealth Within Reach. And I'm your host, Erica Brown. And I'm so excited to be here with you today. First of all, I know we always talking about doing real estate, being on this wealth journey together. And for those of you who are out here trying to do real estate and you are married or you have a significant other, this episode, or if you're not married and you want to be one day and you want to figure out how to navigate this journey with your spouse or significant other, this episode is for you. I have an amazing dynamic duo here with me today. They are amazing. Florida. How do you say that? Floridians. See, this how you know I'm not from Florida. I'm from country Texas. Okay, Floridians here. Angela and JJ, welcome, guys. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so glad to have you here in hot Atlanta today. Oh yeah, it's cold Atlanta today. I love it. All right, guys. So we're gonna jump into it. First of all, I want to just again congratulate you guys for an amazing 2023. Yes. Angela and JJ went from 0 properties that they own to 3 units in 1 year. Mm-hmm. So congratulations, guys. Big jump. Yes. What was the goal at the beginning of the year?
The goal is to get something.
Yes. The goal is to get something. If you guys want to tell just the folks a little bit about who Angela and JJ is and what you guys spend your time, what you give your time to, and that'll be awesome.
Hi guys, I'm Angela. I am a mom of 2. I've always wanted to get into investing. It just seemed very unattainable for me until I met Erica. I love to cook. I love to grow and just push myself. So I think that pretty sums who I am.
Yes, Angela's awesome. She's talented. She's beautiful. She's sweet inside and out.
I agree. Well, my name is JJ. I am a director of a retreat and conference center in Florida. And me and my wife also manage a wedding venue. And we decided, on top of all these things that we're doing, we're also going to try to throw in a little bit of real estate investing. Yeah. And that's how we kind of caught wind of Erica. I was kind of on the lookout because I knew that's something I wanted to do, but saw a lot of different people who said they can help you, but she stood out for reasons which I'm sure we'll get into. But man, it was a blessing, so yes. yeah.
I have loved getting to know you guys as students, as friends, as clients. It's been so fun. One of the most interesting things about you guys is that y'all have known each other y'all's whole life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pretty much, right?
Yeah,
yes.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Since I was 7.
Yeah.
So he was the boy that had cooties. And I was like, ew.
I love it. I love that story so much. It's so funny because but you have your boys are younger, but once they start liking, girls or whatever, and I'm like, you know what? It's okay. They're probably not gonna be around any that long. But you guys are actually y'all stuck around. I'm gonna have to second guess when I say that with my kids. No, I love it. So many couples are trying to navigate this wealth building journey. And, like you said, we all have a lot of things going on. We're managing kids, we're managing our careers and the demands of that family. And it can be hard to kind of figure out where to start. Yeah. Talk to me about, Angela, what was like before you, and we'll talk a little bit later about how we got to working together, but talk to me what are some of your fears or thoughts about real estate investing, or just kind of taking risk in general prior to joining the owning and living in community?
So I don't know if it was just investing itself. It's just once you have kids, any decision or any risk, anything that's risky feels a lot riskier because you're not only putting your future at risk, you're putting theirs, right? So I think without realizing it, I was holding myself back a little bit because I was like, doing the 9 to 5 is safer. And that's my comfort zone, you know, and I didn't want to risk, you know, my children's future. So I think that in itself is what held me back, you know? So just, and I think if I was on my own, you know, who cares, you know, if I have to live in my car, but living in a car with the kids is a different story.
It is a lot. It is a lot. So what do you feel like kind of helped you to be okay with that first step, knowing that like so many things were at stake? It wasn't just you, it's you, your kids, your family, like so much more at stake.
I think it's because I kept trying other things and I wasn't getting nowhere. And I think that's the part that was dangerous, because sometimes when you do nothing, you're like, you realize you're doing nothing. But because I was staying busy, what's that saying that you say? Analysis?
Paralysis.
Yeah, paralysis.
Yes.
Yeah. It felt like I was moving when actually I was not.
Right.
So I think if it wasn't for Jay taking that first leap, actually, I don't know if I'd be here doing
well, let's talk about that.
Hey, she said that on TV. She said, because of me.
Okay, let's talk about that. So one of the things that I'm really proud of is that with the Only Again Living community, we have something for everyone. Yeah. We have, you know, I have free resources. I host like free webinars. I have things on my website that you can, even workshops that you can purchase for as little as like $5, $10, $20, right? But when it does come to wanting to take investing seriously and take it to the next level, the programs that we have, they are not cheap. They're not $5.99 necessarily for like the hands-on like support programs. So it is an investment. And a lot of times it's the biggest investment that you know, people have made, right? And so that could come with, you know, a lot of our own money story and scarcity can come up when it comes to, you know, making $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 types of investments. And a lot of times I think people struggle with, because I get emails all the time. I really want to do it, but you know, my husband isn't on board, or I really want to do it and I feel like this is for us and I feel like you can help us, but you know, this other spouse doesn't get it. Like for you, JJ, let's not assume that everyone knows what happened. So talk to us about like where you have been following a lot of people, and what made you stand out? What made me stand out for all the people you were following, and then what was the dynamics with you guys, and you wanted to pull the trigger or not, and then what did you do in order to like just get started? Just kind of walk us through.
So me and Angela, we've been like saving up for a while now, because we knew we wanted to jump into that space, but didn't necessarily know what we wanted to do. But we knew that, hey, first step, we got to get, you know, like look at our assets, look at our finances, look at our credit, and look at all these things, and let's get ourselves to a perfect space to jump into that avenue, right? So we were doing it, and we were doing it well. So we had a good sum of money kind of put together, but we realized that we both had different ideas about how we wanted to go into like real estate and investing. And I very much, I'm a know yourself type of person. That's like a motto in my head, like know yourself, know yourself, know yourself. And I knew myself and knew that without like the right person holding my hand at first, it would take me a long time to like
pull the trigger.
To pull the trigger, to get in, or like I would like sabotage myself in a sense into kind of believing like, all right, maybe this ain't working out. I'm gonna just go back to where I'm comfortable, because
it's not the right time. Maybe I should wait next year.
Exactly, you know, because I already have a decent job, and I got all you know, so it's like I have a good comfortable place to go back to, but I'm like, but I want to break free so I can experience some like freedom, you know. So anyways, so I'm always, you know, finding, new people and this, that, or the other. And she kind of goes in my ear and is just like, I don't know, they're scam, they're a scam, you know what I mean? Like, all these
they're
gurus,
scammers.
Yeah.
How do you know that they're actually doing this? I feel you. I'll be like side-eye too. I'll be like,
no, for real. So I was like, all right. So I actually took a word for that because I was like, you just never know. So I waited, and then I actually caught wind of you, not looking for you, Christina Minio and Annie Minio. Like you did a
YouTube episode.
A YouTube episode with them, yeah.
And he showed it to me. He's like, see? I was like, but you don't really, I'm like, just because you see it.
No, I mean, because I felt like Annie Minio is not going to endorse something that he don't believe in. And maybe that was me being naive,
But that was smart though, actually.
Yeah, because I was like, he's somebody, I'm a fan. I go to his concerts, all this kind of stuff. And I feel like him, Lecrae, and those folks, like they have their business like in my like Reach Records, and so I know like Lecrae built that, so I'm like, he's a business-minded man. So if he decides that he's going to work with someone like you for his investments and real estate and doing stuff like that, then I'm like, she has to be credible, to some degree, and then you're very outspoken about your faith. So I hope that, I know that's not always the what everybody want to say because they're faithful, they're truthful, but that's not always it, But I was hoping that kind of spoke to your character and your morality and all that kind of stuff. And you just seemed like you were somebody who cared and wanted to help, because I think there's a lot of gurus that will give you the information and they're like, here's the information, do something, but I'm like, no, I'm asking you, if I'm going to give you 10 and whatever $1,000, $8,000, 6,000, whatever, if I'm going to give you anything in the 1,000 range,
anything,
then I'm expecting a little bit more than giving me the information. Because if I really wanted to, I can like hone on in and maybe go on YouTube and Google, and I can compile all the information I want. It'll take me a long time, but I can do it, put it together and follow it myself. But I'm like, no, I want to fast track it, and I want somebody who's actually going to like hold my hand. And that's kind of where you came in a bit, but.
But then, so Angela was still kind of skeptical. You were so kind of based off of like research and stuff. So then the mentorship program opened. Yeah.
And he was like, I have something to tell you.
Nah. So we first started by saying, hey, we got this much money. We know we want to do something different. So how about we do this? Like, you want to go into investing this way, I want to go in this way. So let's split this, and then you can invest in any way you want to invest it, and I'll invest in it any way I want to invest it. Now, we said that, but I don't know.
I agreed to it.
She didn't mean it.
You may have told her when she was cooking and had a kid on her hip, and she's like, sure.
Yeah.
I agreed to it, but then I expected, I don't know, maybe like, hey, I got a Starbucks. I don't know what it was.
So anyways, I saw your program. I knew I wanted it. So I actually knew I wanted to get into it like before we started investing.
Nice.
But she said, hold on. So I just kept following you to see how you kind of grew. And then when I was like, man, she's keeping her track record real strong. So when we actually made that decision, like we're going to split, she finally said, I kind of convinced her to say, and I just immediately jumped in.
And you're like, bye.
Yeah, I just bought it right there.
I signed up and I was just like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit upset. I was like, you got
scammed.
What is going on? We could get, what's funny? I was like, we could get this information ourselves online, which I've been doing for 3 years. I've been in the same place the whole time.
Look at the camera. Say that again. Because, that'd be the real thing. Like I have a whole friend myself who has known me for a long time. And knows literally, like you didn't even know me, and this person knows what I do, and they're like, no, I'm just going to do YouTube University, and I was like, okay, let me see how that works.
That was me. And what's weird is this journey has actually helped me to reflect and learn a little bit about myself, because it's not only in this area where I kind of hold myself back to where like I don't reach out for help. I'm like, I'm gonna do it all by myself. So that's been kind of neat, So
you've seen the value, man. As women, that's so hard for us. It's so hard for us, and it's really a problem. Actually, it's really hard for us to like step out and be like, hey, I need help. Can you help me with this?
Or just investing in myself. Like, like this is my dream. Let me drop this amount. If it was for my kids, this would be nothing, right?
Let me tell you. I mean, we talk about, our boys play sports, and we talk about AAU and all that.
Yeah.
Man, let me tell you this. Somebody may email me and say, I know I can't buy your beginner's course. It's $500. I don't have it right now. But then let me tell you, the first moment that, that son need to get to Vegas,
Yes.
to play basketball, to do this, and we do what we need to do for the kids.
Yes.
Why? Because we want to set them up for the future.
Yes.
But why don't we do that for ourselves?
Yes.
True.
And that's what I learned. Like,
And this
this
sets
journey,
them up too.
Seriously, I learned that about myself. I was like, man, like, taking risk or just investing in myself is so hard. I don't know. It's like, it's weird. It's like, I know I'm worthy.
Yes.
But it's like my actions don't show it. So that's something that, like, this whole journey has been.
That's so good. That's so good.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I found that, I know it has for me, like this transformation journey and like working through overcoming those limited beliefs and those lies has helped not only real estate, but just so many different like areas in life. So I definitely fully understand that. Okay, cool. So so she said she was a little upset.
I was.
And then how did you deal with her being a little bit upset because you pulled the trigger? Because some people can feel guilty about that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm not. I don't know.
Yeah.
Something's wrong with me, I guess. I don't know what other way to say it. But in my head, I always felt like, I told her this too. I'm like, I always knew, like, I'm going to be successful. That's like the thing that's always in my head. Like, I'm going to be successful. It's going to work out. I even told her a while back, I was like, I don't know why. I always felt like I was going to be a millionaire. You know what I mean? I always felt like that, And so when I did this, I was like, this is just a next step. Like, it's going to happen, So like, so I'm like, all right, so now that I did this, like, on to the next thing. Like, let's capitalize, let's make it happen. So then I just kept working, and I'm like, she'll see. Like, she'll see the success. She'll see what happens. She'll see the efforts. She'll see all those things, and then she'll kind of come around.
Yeah.
But,
it came much sooner than a lot of other couples. I feel like.
In my credit for myself, I tried not to vent because we did set up funds for him to allocate for whatever he wanted to do. So I tried not to vent a lot to him. And I vented a lot anonymously on the mom groups. Like, guess what my husband did?
Anonymous posts. We see those. We see you. We see you.
So I think that helped us to kind of like
not to
cause
work
a lot.
through that.
So if you have issues, it's anonymous posts.
I say, fellas, if you looking into doing what I did, think twice, because it might not work for you.
But it worked. It worked for you.
It worked here.
Well, I mean, I think that's really good because like that you made a decision, because sometimes, and I don't think it's anything purposeful or malice, but sometimes one spouse, because this was definitely like that for us, one spouse or one person can have that vision and the other person just can't see it. But the biggest thing to remember is to not allow your spouse's lack of seeing your vision to limit the vision. Sometimes you just gotta go, and then they will see that you're putting in the work. That, okay, she's serious. Oh, okay, like he's for real. Oh, okay, like he's showing up. Oh, okay, well, we're making moves. And then the other person will increase their knowledge. They'll, okay, tell me more about this again. Tell me what, and then they'll go over time. So now fast forward, kind of getting over. My wife may be a little mad at me, but it's okay. Angela, she been to the mom groups on Facebook. Look what my husband done spent money. It's not a reckless thing, which is great, because I've seen those posts where it's like my husband went, because we talked earlier. I interviewed my husband, and he actually went and bought a car one time without my approval or kind of yes to it. And so he did not buy a depreciating asset, which is great, but but it's still a thing. So now you guys are you're in the mentorship program and you're learning. Now, like, what were some of kind of your biggest, like for real, be honest, like your real takeaways, or like, okay, this is different. Like, what were some of those things that you first kind of learned?
One of the reasons that I was like, I felt like it was a scam at first is because a lot of things, sometimes you get online, you just get like a template, you know? I didn't expect the amount of one-on-ones. I didn't expect the community. I didn't expect people being vulnerable and sharing like, hey, I did this and it didn't work, but this will work. I didn't expect like having somebody on my phone that I met through a meeting that I could reach out and be like, hey, can you send me your realtor and stuff like that. I did not expect all of that. And to me, that's what's really different. I have people on my cell phone that like whenever I'm having issues that I got from this group that I could actually talk to and that's been through it that could actually help me.
Yeah.
That's so good.
And I was like, oh my gosh, this is worth it. I didn't say it to him at first.
Of course. Absolutely. What about you? What were some initial just impressions?
No, same thing. Like I said, like from the jump, I was like, man, I want somebody who's really going to do some hand holding because I have enough things already in my mind. I got these businesses that I'm navigating through, so I don't want to have to like put in that much attention and energy like on this thing too. But I still want to give it a good go. But with the right person, I think I can get there further. So like exactly what she was saying, like the Zoom calls, the one-on-ones, like all those different things that just like the checkups and like, all right, so where are you now? Where you want to go? Like, let's break it down. Let's create a strategy. Let's create a plan. And we worked on that together.
Right.
I was like, man, that was very valuable to me. And but even though like I knew like this is like Angela's dream, like it's her dream to like have her own home, you know what I mean, and buy her house, and you know she wants to pay cash, you know.
Yes, love it. Yes, so, drop that cash. Yeah, right.
So I knew that was like so even more so like I knew this is something that I wanted to do and be a part of. But to be completely honest, being a real estate like investor is her dream more than it is my dream. So I was trying to like, let's get in on it because I mean time's only slipping.
Yeah.
So let's do it now. And then like eventually like what happened with your mastermind is like I started it and you started seeing how it phased out.
And then Angela, that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
So JJ actually, he was kind of the primary person with the mentorship, the 90-day program, showing up on the call, asking the questions and stuff like that. And with the 90 days, sometimes for some people, they're able to close on the property within those 90 days. Boom, cool, let's keep it moving. For some people, their return on investment for the 90-day mentorship program is the clarity in the direction. Yeah. They're like, okay, cool, in the knowledge. And then they're like, okay, cool, what's the next step? So I can actually get that hands-on support to pull the trigger. So then all of a sudden, they joined the mastermind after the mentorship program. And then and the mastermind is where we work together for an extended period of time. Mm-hmm. So then it was kind of like that Homer GIF, the Homer Simpson GIF where he kind of goes into the bush. Yeah. And then that was JJ. And then here comes Angela. And we're like, oh, she's cool. Because we knew that she existed. We really wasn't sure who she was. And then I remember when we were at my cabin. Yeah. That was like my first time I met you. And I was like, oh, I really like her. She's really cool. Yeah. So, okay, what I want you guys to talk about now, which I know that so many people can relate to, is that some of us as Black people, we live in predominantly all white spaces. Yeah. Yep. And I want you to talk about what it's like living in an all white space, but then interacting in our in-person times with the Owning and Living It community and like what that has been like for you guys. Okay guys, did you hear the news? I am giving away a fully turnkey house. Yes, you heard that correct. I am giving away a fully renovated house at the Owning and Living It experience. You gotta be in the room though to win the house. It is November 1st through 3rd at the Intercontinental Hotel in Buckhead. Go to experience.owningitandlivingit.com to grab your ticket today before the prices go up. I'll see you in November.
I've been in a space because like you said, like we live in a part of Florida where it's like retirement. Yeah, you gotta look a little deep to find somebody that look like you, you know. And I feel like even like my whole life, I've always kind of been like the only one in the room, you know, like from school, you know, I mean, I was in like particular classes and stuff like that, and then because of that, I was like the only Black person in the class, and you know, and even in like my job right now, we have our board meetings. I'm the only black person in the room. It's just constant, you know. So, but then even growing up, I almost kind of felt like there's a song. I forget who sings that song. It's like Too Black for the White Kids. Yeah. But
and Too White for the Black Kids.
Yeah, I always felt like that. Like
and I don't even like saying that because who says it's too white?
What constitute? What does that even mean? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But it kind of came in where I kind of felt like that. You know what I mean? Where it's just like I don't know where my place is. You know what I mean? Like I have like a community, but then like I'm very connected and feel very like a part of like my heritage and my Black community and everything like that. And I want to connect in that way. So being with this particular community, I felt like you, not that you guys are different, like you're very much like the culture and part of that culture, but you're so accepting of everybody. It don't matter. It don't matter where you came from. It don't matter how you talk. It don't matter how you dress. It don't matter how you this. It's just like we share our commonality and like who we are and where we came from. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel that, and it makes me feel like I got my people. You know?
Yeah.
Yes,
It really
absolutely.
did.
I mean, I remember that I don't know if it was the first or second night with our first retreat, and we were sitting around the fire, and it was, all of us and Leisha and everybody, and we all are African American, but we all have various experiences and stuff like that. And we're just like having a real Black conversation.
Yeah.
Y'all know what the real Black conversations are. And we're just comparing experiences. And I was just like, man, I love this.
Yeah.
Like, I love this, because I know the spaces you guys live in.
Yeah.
And I was like, I really love that they're here and we get to have this time.
Yes.
Sure. Yeah. I loved it.
Definitely very freeing. It just feels freeing and inspiring. And also like anything that I do, I think of like, how can this benefit my kids,
Yeah.
And I'm like, I want them to have this, you know?
Yes.
Because I didn't have it growing up, and it does have an impact on you. It makes you, I don't know, like it affects you in ways you may not even know.
Yes.
So then like, for me, it excites me because I'm like, okay, this is me paving the way for my kids to see us doing this, and then they could do it as well.
So they don't just like think, oh, okay, real estate, owning a lot of houses are just for white people.
Yes.
Like,
right?
no, like we own, it's not just us. Like a lot of us own a lot of houses, and a lot of us are business owners and things like that.
Exactly.
Regardless of where you live, if you live in Atlanta or if you live in, a small town in Florida.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
One of the things that I've appreciated about this community that I don't experience when I go to other like conferences and stuff like that are predominantly white is like having to like explain myself.
Yes.
Like we don't, there's just like when we do things together, there's just kind of like this understood baseline where it's just like you just jump in as you are, and there's no having to explain XYZ.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another thing is like I realize like sometimes, and I don't know, this falls because I'm also a woman and also because I'm Black. Sometimes I feel like I have to be perfect. I have to do extra. If I'm doing the finances, it has to be like,
Right.
And not saying I'm not going to give my all to my community, but I feel like there's room for you guys. If I was to falter, I wouldn't like, you guys won't disown me.
No.
It's okay. It's okay.
Right.
I could just be me. And then like, so that's also been freeing.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's good. Failure is embraced here, girl. I'll be like, what lesson did we learn? What lesson did we learn? Because if we don't fail, how do we learn?
Yeah. Right.
Right? So I love that. Okay. So that's so good. So let's talk about how the community has supported you guys going from, buying your first investment property, multifamily property, in the last year. What has that journey, have you ever felt like giving up in the process? I know it's funny. It's like a rhetorical question.
Even with the house that we have now, honestly, if it wasn't for you and then some of the ladies that I have on are my tags, I probably wouldn't have gotten it.
Talk to me more about that.
So the realtor that we had, she was learning as well. So we were probably like we were blind leading the blind kind of thing. And when you're going in an area where there's a lot of investors trying to get certain homes, you want somebody who's seasoned, who's a little bit cutthroat, but like, and my realtor was the sweetest soul and she was just learning. So that made me feel very vulnerable. And at moments I wanted to give up because I was like, there's no way, And it wasn't for me reaching out to you 1,000,000 times a day.
And then she'll be like, apologize. I'm like, Angela, this is what you paid me for.
I'm like, I'm so sorry for messaging again.
and honestly, even outside of that, I'm just always like, I'll sit at home and just like, I haven't heard from Angela. Did they get the appraisal done? Let me send her a quick message.
And then sometimes you would send a message and I'm like, yes. Okay, it's okay to write her and ask this question.
Yes. I would tell her all the time. She'd be like, man, this is happening, this happening. I'm like, call Erica. But the cool thing is, like we're talking about the hand holding, is that we could.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And it was, and I mean, this through the proper channels like Voxer and all that kind of stuff. But it's like, we were able to send you messages and like, I mean, I think there was one time, respect her time, people. But I do remember there was one time, I think he was like in Paris or Europe or something like that.
But you were under contract, and it's like that important to me.
And that's what I'm saying. Like you still, were like responding to us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm like, that's what's up. You know what I mean?
And then I'm a night owl, and then I have mom life, and then I have camp. So there's times where I'm doing investing stuff.
Yeah.
It'll be like at 12. It'd be late. So
Yeah.
I'll send a message. I'm like, please don't reply. Like, here's a question. And then you'd reply. I'm like, dang.
Yeah.
Hey, and what I love about, so we have Voxer, it's like a
Yeah.
walkie-talkie app, and we are able to communicate through that app just all the time, whether it's video or text or whatever. And I love that, like, you can message me on your own time,
Yeah.
and I can message you back on my own time. And because at first we had to like coordinate schedules to hop on the Zoom, and my schedule's crazy.
Yeah.
Y'all know. So this just worked
Yeah.
out really great. And look, no, I genuinely like want to see people win. Like,
And you could feel
Yeah,
that. You could
100%.
really feel. And it's so funny. I was getting a little cocky. Like, they'd say something. I'm like, let me reach out to my mentor. let, me, let me get on Voxer.
I love it.
Yeah.
And one of the things that's important to me is because I know what it feels like to have a mentor or to have someone you're looking up to, and for them to like shoot down your dreams.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to shoot down anybody's dreams, but I am going to help you to, and I'm also not going to tell you what to do either.
Yeah.
Like, I just help you to, one, like, think through scenarios,
Yeah.
to think through options that you may not have thought of, and to consider all things whenever you're making decisions.
Yeah.
And whether, if you were going to give up, it was going to be okay.
Yeah.
But if you did, but I'm still going to like help you to see other
Yeah.
options and go from there. And so, I'm the kind of person where I don't like for people to like try to control me.
Yeah.
There are people out there that really take it like personal. They're like, you need to do what I tell you to do. And I'm like, ooh, no, that's cringe for me. Like, that's we're all adults. Okay. We're all adults. And so, I love that. I appreciate that you guys are like, that you are coachable, because a part of like me being a good coach is to work with clients who are coachable, who can't trust. So that's really awesome. Yeah. That's really good. So we talked about it earlier about some of the surprising changes that come from this journey of like taking risk and overcoming like limiting beliefs and things like that. And we talk about now reframing, reframing our mindset. What are some surprising things that you have like learned about yourself and have began overcoming through this process of investing?
Oh man. I think I've learned about myself that I tend to put myself last, and I think I'm learning that I'm capable and that I do need community. I think one of the reasons why I was so opt to not reach out for help is because for some reason working hard, like for me, if it's not the hard way, then it's not like the right way. And I'm like, no.
Girl, that's a word.
And I'm like, no, you can have a community, and it could be a beautiful journey. There's going to be times where you're like struggling a little bit, but you don't have to choose the hard route every time.
Yeah. Because
you feel like that's what you need to do for it,
Right.
So.
And Black people, we work hard. Like, we literally, we love hard work.
Yeah.
But I'm tired of working hard.
Right.
Honestly.
I'm ready for my soft girl era.
Exactly. Soft girl life. Right. This is why I invest in real estate. So no, it's so good.
Yeah.
That's really
So
good.
I'm learning. I'm telling you, this journey has taught me is teaching me so much about myself.
That's good.
So that's been neat.
What about you, JJ?
Yeah, it's a good one. Cause like I'm pretty good about handling like my mind and my thought process. Like I'm always have like positive thoughts about like me and what to expect or whatever. So I don't battle too many like negative thoughts. You know what I mean?
That's good.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
I can tell you something.
Are you telling me?
Yeah. So I'm learning JJ.
I'm sure you got a lot of them.
No, like he's very good with people. I already knew that, but like doing Airbnbs, it just comes naturally to him. Like he's the one when it comes to, he has a design eye, And also I'm learning that like with time management, like investing world has helped with time management. Like he's like gotten so much better with that. That's something that I'm learning, like he's overcoming.
That's good.
So I don't know, that's been a lot. Like
it's worked in other
yeah,
areas.
Yeah.
I've noticed that.
Good.
And
He's like, okay, that sounds good.
I don't notice, man. I just go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I don't take the time to like reflect sometimes, which I probably need to do more.
Yeah.
You know? So,
Yes,
yeah.
absolutely. Okay, so I'm sure people are wondering like your roles within your business and how you guys are managing various things. But how do you, as like if out there other couples are trying to figure out like, okay, how do we work together, and like what do I do versus what my spouse does? What does that look like for you guys as far as roles with managing your real estate business?
That's a good one.
Because you guys are doing what type of rental strategy?
We're doing short-term rental.
Yeah.
Short-term rental, 4-unit
Yep.
property. Yes. Okay.
And we're very different.
Yes.
JJ and I are like night and day.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because I'm the numbers girl. I'm the chart. I'm like,
Yeah.
it has to make sense to me. He's the visionary. He could see a space and I'm just like, what the heck is this? And he's already seeing what's in it. So it takes a lot of communication and it takes trust.
Yeah.
Like I have to trust in his abilities. And I think that's where we kind of struggled at first.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, but I'm like, this is what he does. Like we had to sit down and be like, this is for us to recognize his strengths and my strengths.
Yeah.
And I have to trust in his strengths and he has to trust in mine, you
Yeah.
know? And I think has helped us a lot.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
You
Because
know?
even in this process, like we kind of noticed where we fit in, like from the acquisition of the property and all that kind of stuff. I was like,
Yeah.
Yes.
all her, you know what I
And
mean?
Hilla was searching properties and doing offers
Yeah.
and working with the agent and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
JJ, like, let me know when you.
Yeah, right. You know, we sat and we talked constantly, and like, and we threw things back and forth. But I 100% got to say,
Yeah.
man, that was her, her thing, and she did a phenomenal job at it. When it kind of turned over,
Yeah,
and then
that's
we
it.
actually got the property, it's almost like my brain just like clicked, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm all in, you know.
I'm
So like,
okay.
Yes.
yeah.
She's Homer.
Yeah. So that's where I came in. You know, I love renovations and rebuilds, and you know,
Yeah.
I've been doing that for a while. So like, once I come in, I see all the things that need to get fixed, and then I start, you know, creating a list for ourselves, and these are the things we need to do so that we can, you know, launch our
Yeah.
Airbnb, so that insurance can, like, you know, cover us, you know,
Yeah.
with this new process of buying this property. And all that. And then I started looking at the landscape. Okay, if we are going to Airbnb, then these are the softwares we need, and this is what we need
Yeah.
to set up, and this is how we need to go, and we need to buy linens, and we need to do this. And
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And then we just kind of like go through that process, and I realized that's kind of where I started like shining. And
Yeah.
we both work together in that respect now, but I think right now that's kind of been more of a where I've been kind of like
Yeah.
taking the lead on that part.
And in
right
every phase, what's been neat, and I think sometimes you have to say it out loud. Like sometimes it'd be like, okay, yeah, I think the financial part is my part, you know? Because sometimes I
That's
I
good.
assume that he knows, you know what I'm saying? And then
Right.
it's like, then we start bumping heads. So yeah, so that's been just communication, lots of
Yes.
communication.
Yes. Well, okay. What does communication look like for you guys now, being new investors branching into this lane? Like, and then you guys are like really busy because you do real estate development kind of for your job, in
Yeah.
addition to also doing your own real estate development now. So you're like really busy. So what is like give me some examples of how communication works within y'all's relationship with this.
Having meetings, like we'll have financial meetings. I love that. Like, and I'm a visual person, so I'm always the one with the spreadsheet.
In the pie chart.
That's me. And also sometimes his mind works different from mine. So sometimes even though he'll say something, I'll have to be like, I need more information. Because sometimes he'll be like, this, or I'll be like, this. So we'll have like tag words that we have to say, like, and for me, it's like, oh, I need a little more information. Like almost like saying, slow down. I don't
That's
get
good.
it. I'm
Yeah.
not getting it.
That's
Yeah.
And I noticed like we would talk a lot, but then sometimes even the talking, we would assume we got it, like it absorbed, but it didn't.
Yeah.
So I have to actually be like, okay, I need more information. And then that means we stop, put phones down or whatever, and actually like peel it back, figure it out,
Right.
hash
And
it
I,
out.
I think that was the biggest thing. It's like not only like communicating, but understanding like your partner a little bit, and
Yeah.
and we're still understanding each other. So don't get it like we got it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, we all
Yeah.
on this journey. Yeah.
But you know, like I think when she, like, cause me, I keep everything inside. I don't know why.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I have all these things. I'm like, I know I got to do all these things, and then I just start doing them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then it's like I need to
Tunnel
like,
vision is what I call
Yeah.
it. That's
Right,
kind
yeah.
of how offer.
So I just do it, but then her just being like, I need more.
Yeah.
And then I have to just start,
Yeah, it's
spitting
like
all that
alert.
out.
Oh, okay, I need to actually communicate.
Yeah.
And then, but that used to be a point of contention for us. You know what I mean? That used to be an area where we argue, but then her just, she finally got to the point where she was like, I get that's kind of how his brain works. So she was like, let me just ask these questions. And then I'm like, then I give her those things. And then vice versa. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
and you have to look at it like, because, Satan can creep in and be like, she just trying to
Exactly.
nag you. So that you have to look like, oh, okay, it's not that she's trying to nag me. She's trying to understand me.
Exactly.
And to help with that, because before I used to be like, how I would say it would come across like, like, come on, like, I need to know. So now I'm saying stuff like, I need more information. Explain it to me. I don't understand. Yeah. And I think that helps with any kind of defensive, because we're just trying to understand each other. We all have the same goal. Yeah. It's at this moment I don't understand, because even though he has tunnel vision, his tunnel vision has helped in areas, where he could just focus. So I don't want him to feel bad about it, but I also don't want to be left in the dust. Like, I need to understand.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Y'all just help a lot of couples right now with that scenario. That is so good. Okay. All right. This has been really, really helpful. It's been so amazing. I think so many people are going to be inspired by y'all's story. If you had like one other thing, like tips to share with newbie real estate investor beginners, and specifically, couples or business partners, what would you tell them? Like, what advice would you give them when thinking about getting started?
I would say invest in yourself. Like, I spent a lot of times like not wanting to spend the money, especially when you see a big number. Yeah. But then I ended up, if I did the math for the past 3 years, spending little bit by little bit, I probably spent what I spent in the big lump sum, if that makes any sense. Yeah. So invest in yourself, especially if it's your dream. Like, this is your dream. You know what I'm saying? If somebody's going to be able to support you, if somebody who was on the other side that was like, no, don't do it, it could be a scammer, just go for it. Like, invest in yourself. You're worth it. Like, so that's my takeaway.
Yeah.
I love that.
Now, like a while back, somebody told me this thing. They said, like, choose the right boat. So it's like if you're like on a lake and you like need to get to the other side of the lake, it's like, which boat are you going to choose? Because you can get there with any boat that's here. You can use a kayak, a canoe, jet ski, speedboat, whatever. But which one are you going to choose? And he was like, I'm gonna always shoot a speedboat because I'm trying to get to the other side of the lake as quickly as possible. Right. So like what I would say to you guys is, this is speedboat right here. Like you got like you said, a YouTube University, but that's a kayak compared to a speedboat. Yeah. And then when you and you just put yourself into so many positions where you're gonna make so many more mistakes. And like 100%, this is no lie, it's not no cap. I mean, not to inflate the ego or anything, but 100%. The property we have now would not have been had without you. Erica. Like even if like she found it, the process, like we were always on always reaching out to her via Voxer, and like something of we didn't even know. Once again, YouTube University wouldn't have taught us that in the time that we needed to figure it out. We didn't even realize that we could like change like lenders in the middle of the process. That was the thing, and that like saved the deal. But she's the one that was like, do that. And I felt nervous about doing it because I'm like, that might ruin everything. And you're like, nah, you just so nonchalant. You know what I mean? Like, go, do it. No big deal.
And I had to explain, I was like, Angela, not only am I an investor, I'm a real estate agent, and I've done this a lot of times. And she's like, okay, I'm listening.
Well, and my newbie realtor, she's like, what? So,
and your realtor told you it wouldn't work.
Yeah, it wouldn't work. So it's like, you don't know what you don't know. Like, so if I didn't have you and I'm leaning on this realtor and she's telling me it didn't work, I would have just like...
Yeah, we would have lost it and we would have been doing our thing.
And then now, like, since you bought the property, how's it been going? What was it worth it? Like, what?
Worth it.
Yeah.
Worth it. We're booked and busy.
Hey! Booked and busy. I love it. Thank you guys so much. I'm y'all biggest fans. I love y'all. Y'all better come to this conference because Angela and JJ gonna be there. So y'all get to meet them in person. But thank you so much, guys.
Thank you for having us.
All right. Thank you for attending another episode of Wealth Within Reach. I'll see you next time. Thank you.